I request Honorable Prime Minister Syed Yousaf Raza Gillani to address this odd gathering of journalists, as Imtiaz Saab called it.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Ziauddin, President of Pakistan Media Commission, Mr. Imtiaz Adam, Secretary General of SEFMA, Mr. Nusrat Javed, President of SEFMA Pakistan, members of the Parliament, editors, senior journalists, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I'm pleased to address this distinguished gathering of editors, journalists, and opinion leaders at the concluding session of SEFMA's conference. Today, our country is going through the most critical and challenging period of our history, and media is undoubtedly playing a significant role in the current challenging scenario, specifically in the fight against terrorism. It is also supporting the democratic government's efforts to curb the menace of terrorism, which has emerged as the single most taxing challenge for the country. The presence of an independent, progressive, robust, and vibrant media has added a positive dimension to the national pride by keeping open a window of hope and optimism. The risks and threats faced by the nation and media and are of same proportion. Pakistan's media today is fully conversant with the imperatives of national security policy and is qualified to provide support to the government for achieving these vital objectives. The government also wholeheartedly recognizes its strength and power and is committed to work together with media for realizing national goals. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistani media enjoys unprecedented freedom. All the draconian laws of the dictator which curtailed media freedom were repealed by the government as per the commitment that I made on the floor of the House. The amendments introduced in the PAMRA Ordinance 2002 and press laws on November 3, 2007 have been revoked and no intrusion in the freedom of expression has been allowed. Our government has shown exceptional respect for media freedom in plurality of views. Since PPP-led government believes in the empowerment of people, we will ensure that citizens' right to know is preserved at all costs. We have never believed in the culture of press advice, censorship, and control of content or information, and all of you are witness to the fact that the democratic government has never stifled media freedom. No journalist, poet, or writer has been put behind bars for opposing the government's policies, nor have any restrictions been imposed on television channels or newspapers. Another achievement of the democratic government is that the Press Council of Pakistan, PCP, established under the law in 2002, is now complete and has become a functional body. I hope that the Press Council will play a role of a bridge between common masses and media institutions, and it will be a non-partisan, independent, and autonomous body which will be compatible with the regional and global institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, the democratic government is providing maximum facilities to journalists, especially in the form of grants in aid and financial assistance to press clubs and journalists. In case of journalists falling victim to terrorism, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting provides financial assistance to the families of the victims. The ministry also provides funds for the education of children for such victims. I also announced plots for the victims of terrorism. The government of Pakistan has made utmost efforts to provide security to the media persons and protect the lives of journalists and their families, but in the wake of acts of terrorism, there have been unfortunate incidents. Journalists have sacrificed their lives in their line of duty, and government of Pakistan fully realizes it and its responsibility towards their families. Many accomplished journalists who have reported on sensitive issues have been martyred during this year, including Faisal Qureshi, Lahore-based editor for a political news website, Salim Shahzad, correspondent of Asia Times Online, Geo's Wali Khan Babar, Saifullah Khan, reporter, the news, and Nasrullah Khan Afridi of Khyber News Agency. Institutional mechanism for the protection of journalists against violence and threat is being devised. On oath-taking ceremony of office bearers of National Press Club, Islamabad, I announced the establishment of endowment fund of rupees 200 million for the welfare of journalists and affected families of journalists who had lost their lives in the line of duty. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has finalized regulation to operate this fund by taking all stakeholders on board. There is also a proposal for the establishment of the endowment fund for journalists under the guardianship of South Asia Free Media Association. Ladies and gentlemen, when journalist Salim Shahzad was brutally murdered, the government established Judicial Commission to investigate the murder. This commission is working with full facilitation from the government. The findings are still awaited. I can assure you that all necessary measures will be taken to implement the recommendations of the commission. Let me assure you that we will not spare any culprit who is involved in the killing of media persons. We are committed to dispense justice to the journalists killed in the line of duty or got disabled. Capacity building of media is also on the agenda of the present government, and efforts are underway for training of journalists for reporting in the conflict zones. Ministry of Information will extend the maximum support to arrange training courses for journalists in conflict reporting in collaboration with their employers. The upcoming Media University project of the ministry envisages education and training programs for journalists in various specialized fields of media to bring them at par with international media. Media has undoubtedly emerged as the most significant element of our national scene, as an element of national power, and has moved close to the heartbeat of the nation. It must now realize its responsibilities towards its people and the state. Ladies and gentlemen, intelligent and sound use of media can play an important role in resolving internal and external conflicts and innovatively addressing the security and development needs of a country. Media exerts a very strong persuasive power. Media has the responsibility to dispel the false and misleading impressions existing in the world about our country, clear the wrong perceptions, and supplement the government's efforts in creating a better image of the country. Media code of ethics should be observed by the journalists in the reporting of conflict and terror incidents. Media should raise professional standards, observe media ethics, and agree to a framework which should be evolved through consensus among all relevant media organizations. I have taken note of the issues raised by the conference, and I assure you of my full support. I am instructing Ministry of Information and Broadcasting to evolve an insurance scheme for the journalists who work in the conflict regions and cover conflicts. I also appeal to the media owners to provide insurance and risk coverage to their employees. Distinguished audience, it is top priority of the present government to resolve the problems of the working journalists. The government desires the journalists should express their opinion fair or favor. The government will continue to improve working conditions of media persons. It was an honor for me to address this national gathering of journalists and editors. I assure you that the government will continue to support your endeavors in the defense of freedom of expression, protection of rights of journalists, and promotion of high professional standards and observance of media ethics. Today, you have raised a specific question for the endowment fund. I want to announce rupees 3 crores. I thank you all. Pakistan, Paindabad.